What's going on, everybody? Welcome into the Jack Ramsay post-game show. Blazers win 119-100 over the Denver Nuggets. Get their 9th straight home win. As always, I'm joined by the illustrious, the lovely, the wonderful Brandon Sprague, who predicted this game to be an absolute blowout. I wasn't buying it because, well, this team hasn't really been able to blow anybody out. And the first question in the chat so far, Mr. Sprague, is Dame back?
It appears so.
Dame back.
You know, what did you count of the 5 threes he made? Did you count 3 that were in? Yeah, there's like prototypical Dame, you know, almost logo Lillard type stuff. Like that was nice to see. I thought the step back
In the corner on AG.
On AG, I thought that one was like a real clear sign that he was feeling it, physically like, okay, I can launch this thing again. And look, if he's going to have that back in the arsenal, if this is the Damian Lillard we have going forward. We all know like that changes what this team can be. Now, I don't know if it changes the very top end of their potential, but I think it changes who they are in the regular season. And that's a really encouraging thing for them, because without Dame, this is a 500 or worse team. With Dame playing this way, you get these kind of nights.
You get the 45-49 win team, which is the team we've both kind of thought this team was going to be. I'm thinking I'm back, says Sithafong. We need somebody. Do we have any Photoshoppers in the chat? Well, I need a Damian Lillard, John Wick crossover Photoshop. That's what we need here.
Oh, I was actually thinking, could we morph Dame's face onto Mace with the Welcome Back song? Can we do that?
That's pretty good. I thought you were going to Mason Plumlee money gun there for a second. You said,
"Oh
Mace,
no!"
I was like, let's not do that.
Pastor Mace.
Yes, there we go. Andy Marchant, I'm going to go with that. Didn't win a game because of shooting. Actually forced turnovers and got out in transition, which was good to see. I'm going to go downer Danny right out of the gate and say them not having a single guy who can handle the ball probably played a pretty large part in that. That's my only. Let's dial it back a little bit on celebrate Dame being back, CJ hitting shots, Ant cooking, like taking care of business. Those are all things. Let's talk about one thing real quick. The Denver Nuggets shot 49% from the field, 46% from 3. Defense was suspect.
Yeah, but for them, I thought it was a good night.
Sure, but
also Denver super depleted their talent.
Listen, I mean, if they did this and Jamal Murray was healthy, like they had somebody who could competently dribble the ball like consecutively down the court, I'd be like, that was a pretty good win. Pretty good win. But
you have to go downer, Danny.
I do.
A night where we got Dame back, CJ and Dame
listen,
combined,
that is my one quibble. That is the one quibble that I have tonight, is that they got cooked anytime they didn't dribble the ball off their own foot.
Yeah, but they did.
And that gets me right into. First of all, welcome everybody. Okay, before I get into the 1 and 2, welcome to the Jack Ramsay's post-game show, available wherever you get podcasts. Jack Ramsay's, like, rate, review, subscribe, do all of the things. What?
When somebody makes like birthday cake and it's got like raspberry filling in the middle, it's got a nice frosting, maybe a buttercream frosting. You're the kind of sick person who takes a bite and goes, "These aren't cage-free eggs, are they?" That's you, isn't it?
I'm not. Here's the thing. I'm not. Listen, I'm always going to look at everything that I see and go, that was really good. That was really good. That sucked. That was pretty good. That was awful. And I'm going to call everything like I see it. Was it a great win and they took care of business? Yes. Top level. You beat the opponent in front of you and you beat them like a drum. Cool. I didn't like the fact that they played around with their food for the first 18 minutes of the game. But. Also, Andy says Danny doesn't even eat cake. He's also like 98% right. Is cheesecake a cake? I know it says cake in the name, but yes. Is it a cake?
It's cake.
Okay. Just I've had this argument
if
before.
It has cake in its name, it's cake.
I'm going to have to find a cake that challenges that theory even more than cheesecake. I'll figure it out between now and then.
Yeah, I'd love to. If you can think of one, let me know.
There's probably something out there where you're like, oh, yeah, no. But, again, first of all, is your first time here? Thank you. Welcome. We appreciate you. This is how things go. I complain about things that inevitably piss everybody off. Welcome. I'm Danny. That's Brandon.
They win by 19. They played decent defense. No, they didn't. They sucked on defense, but they made a lot of shots.
They made a truckload of shots. They did. They looked really good on the offensive end. Loved it. There you go. Sid Manrow. Urinal cake. Win.
What is it?
A urinal cake.
I mean, technically, it's still a cake. It's just a cake for your piss.
All right. That's fair. That's fair. But if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. We're growing. The YouTube channel is growing exponentially. It is absolutely awesome. And thank you all so very much for helping us out.
Make Jack Ramsays urinal cakes. Put them all over Portland.
People be pissing all over them. Let's be serious. That's
I'd be okay if you said you peed on my face.
Listen, speaking of peeing on your face, this is the worst headline ever. Blazers win 119, Swag 100. Blazers blaze the Swag. They were so shorthanded and dirty, they weren't even the Nuggets tonight. They were the Swag.
I really there was a part of me, just like as a sports fan, I felt for him. And then Dozier goes down.
Oh, dude, when he knee buckled, I audibly let out a yelp.
Can we take a quick pause from the Blazer? Who did what and what did well? TNT. Do we need to show that replay like 9 times?
Different angle each time, too.
Did that not seem excessive to anybody else? Like, look, I'm all for, if you want to show it 2 times for that audience, like there's always people who's like, I kind of want to see it again. Okay. But I am super like, I don't like to see those injuries. The Willis McGahees, the Kevin Wares. I'm out.
I got to see it at least once. I'm a grotesque dude.
The Nurkic one, I saw that. Like, I watched that.
That one brought me to tears.
I literally, I was on my bed. My wife was in the closet, like folding laundry. And I go, oh my God, his leg snapped. And
it happened live. And we were in the studio.
Oh.
And I screamed and they went, what? I go, I think it was Shane looked at me and goes, what happened? I go, Nurk just broke his leg bad. And they're like, no. And we have the immediate feed, back in the studio. So Serrano rolls it back and I was like, don't look. And you could see it. And it was just one of those things where it was just like, oh
no, it wasn't that level, but my
no,
point
but you
is,
can
like,
see a buckle. It was definitely like when it happened, my first thought was, it's probably an ACL sprain at bare minimum. Like
I just don't like to see that. And I get if you want to show it a couple like that. I think they legitimately played it 6 or 7 times. And I'm like, that's just a bit excessive for an injury to a guy like that.
Once you see like it's got the wiggle, or in Willis McGahee's term,
I mean, his just went Gumby, man. That thing
inverted. It just went it went backwards. I still remember that. Do you remember the cover of Sports Illustrated? They had it on the cover. Did you remember that? That was again. That's
no. I saw the replay every time they played it when I watched that game. I couldn't believe it.
It made me quiver. It was just you didn't even take a hard eye roll to my really shitty weed joke. Blazers blaze the Swag.
I like it.
Oh, okay. Really? Oh.
Well, I'm kind of a pothead, so I like shitty weed jokes.
Well, I've always get the Blazers blaze the Nugs and blaze the Nug signs, and I was like, these weren't the real Nuggets. They were the Swag.
Dude, these are my favorite days, bro. Because like I just show prep for the radio show.
Mm-hmm.
I'm watching the Blazers win
comfortably.
Now they've won. I got a post-game show. We get to talk about it. And I'm going to go get high when we're done with this. These are my favorite days.
Listen, I mean, the fact that we aren't sponsored by some local place, Antonio Harvey, reach out to us, man.
Hey, let's go. I heard he's got good stuff. I don't know yet.
Now we're just getting the chat going with nothing but bad injuries. Listen, guys. There's
some bad ones out there, man.
Let's not. When you look at tonight's game, what is your first thought?
Ooh. My first thought was it was nice to see Dame and CJ have a Dame and CJ night. Look,
the first of the season.
I've always been honest about this. I do want that dude traded. I think there's a logjam there. I think they are basically the same player and one is forced to play a different role. But I enjoy watching him cook guys when he plays offense. He is a hell of a scorer. When he is dialed and he's got it going, he can get a bucket as well as anybody in this league. And when him and Dame have it going,
it's terrifying.
Albeit the Nuggets being down so many guys, it's terrifying. And it's also a lot of fun to watch 2 dudes do it, right? It's like, it's a less successful, it's our Golden State in the North. We get to watch 2 guys, the perimeter oriented, light it up. Now, it doesn't happen to the efficiency of those guys, obviously, who've won multiple championships.
Well, tonight it did. 22 of 32 between the two of them.
They haven't had a game like that all year. And to see them in their 18th game get to that point, I really did enjoy that part of it. There's a lot of things I enjoyed, but that specifically was one that I said, haven't seen this all year. This is kind of nice.
The story of tonight is two things. The backcourt scoring, which, again, 22 of 32 from the field, 10 of 17 from three. And every one of those threes was wet with a hard tee on the end. They were just canning everything tonight from deep. And it was everything they let go, you went, okay, that's going to be one of those nights. And they effortlessly get their first, both getting 25 plus this season.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny. You look at the plus minuses tonight. CJ had a blistering plus 28.
He's playing really well with that second unit.
I was just going to say, remember how that trend was? It was the Dame in the bench unit, and that unit's still really good. But the CJ bench unit is over the last couple games has been tremendous. Yeah. Let's start with the captain though, El Capitan, Damian Lillard tonight. He back, 25 points, 5 assists, 3 rebounds, 9 of 13 from 3, 5 of 8 from 3. Hell of a night. Mm-hmm. Good floor game, right pace, came out with the right, I think, tone. I definitely wanted to punch somebody in the first 3 minutes to start this game because they went to the Nurkic stuff and it was pretty clearly not working. We'll talk about that later. This isn't to throw him under the bus. It was a good win, like I said. It's just
I felt like that Kurt Angle gif. Like my face was beet red in my living room watching him, and I just was like, like, what are we doing here? Get the ball away from that guy.
It's yeah. It was
Dame cooked.
Look, Dame cooked.
Dame hit some deep threes tonight. He had a step back deep three over a 6'8" athletic a wing player. To see that Dame again, it's been great.
And he pulled up on that deep, like 33-ish footer that he just stepped into and let fly to close. Was it the third quarter?
I'm a slightly pushed back. I wasn't on Twitter for the night, but I did see some tweets logging on here at the end to retweet that we were doing the post game. Your buddy Chad, I'm going to disagree. Like, I do think he was hurt. And
100% was. Are you like, okay? So
he's I guess his opinion is that he re-aggravated during Cleveland, but he wasn't hurt. This is a system thing. And I just don't buy that a guy this many years into the league, it's a system thing. It's
so the system was preventing him from pulling from 30 feet.
Look, I'm
gonna bust his balls and I'm gonna bust his balls in 30 minutes. So we'll save
you
that.
should bust his balls because I'm
100%.
curious how his response to that is. But I saw that and I thought, no, like I think this dude is just he's finally feeling right. I think it wasn't enough to us in the moment, but even that one game off, his body probably was like, oh, thank Jesus, we don't have to run for 35 to 40 minutes tonight. Mm-hmm. Let's take this night
Dame
off.
got 31 tonight,
which was great.
Bravo, Chauncey. Bravo.
I thought the minutes. I mean. This is the benefit
surprised by Nance
beating down a team. I know I was going to get to Nance, but this is the benefit of beating down a team that's down a few players, especially their best one. You don't have a lot of high minute guys. Like CJ was your highest minutes at 34,
which you love to see.
Dame 31, Norm 26. Like you
Cove
like
27.
You like to see the minutes with most of these guys around there if you can get it.
Dame on fire and Fuego. Dame back, looked exactly like we expect Damian Lillard to look. That's what I think is the big takeaway from tonight. The other backcourt mate, CJ McCollum. He needed this one bad. He had really gone 2 weeks without really looking good. He's had moments. He has had flashes. He's had halves. He's had quarters. He has not had a game. He was back tonight as far as being a bucket getter. 32 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists, 13 of 19, 5 of 9 from 3. Wildly efficient, cooking from all levels. Mostly very effective shot creation, shot selection. There were a few points tonight where, again, if you're watching the national broadcast, you heard Brian Anderson say it. Dribble, dribble, dribble. Maybe force that one up a couple times about CJ tonight. And you're like, I know you're cooking, young fella, but let's go ahead and think about something. When the Blazers look their best, Where was the ball? Was it in Dame's hands? Was it in Anfernee's hands? Or was it in CJ's hands?
I think we know the answer.
We know the answer there. It was a lot of A, good amount of B, not so much C. CJ
is
is
the same answer for a while.
Yeah, CJ as a shot maker is as good as it comes.
Yeah.
But there was at least 3 different times tonight where he had Nas on a run out, and he did not get him the ball. He had one for Cove in the corner, the play where he may or may not have shoved somebody in the middle of the back and not go for a foul.
How did that ref stand there and not call that foul?
I
saw
to
from
be
my living room.
I'll be honest. The Blazers have gotten the benefit of some whistles recently, very heavily in the Philadelphia game and in the Denver game. I thought they beat the hell out of the Nuggets tonight without many calls.
Dude, there was this was like, I think it was right before the 16-0 run that they had to close the half.
Yeah.
Campazzo, he like drove right to the right elbow, and I swear to God, he got hit in the head, and he like lost the ball, and the Blazers
yard sailed out, yeah.
And he was on the ground. He looked up and like, really? And that's a dude that will sell fouls, no doubt. But like in that moment, I was like, wow, they're getting away with that, huh? Okay, cool. If it's the Blazers, I'm okay with it. But CJ,
we'll let that go. Yeah,
we'll let that go. Even with CJ's good games early, because he was getting a lot of like, hey, we got an all-star CJ back. There were a couple of those games that like statistically it looked great. And I told you this when they happened. I thought it was a lot of stat stuffing. I didn't think it was like a truly good CJ game. The numbers just looked good. And I feel like the last couple weeks, some of this stuff has come back to even out in a certain regard. And as you mentioned, he's struggled. He needed this one. And it was nice to see him get it going because, man, when he can figure out how he fits in as a piece, they're a good team. The problem is that from time to time, he gets out of being that piece and he goes back to kind of some tendencies.
Speaking of some tendencies, we saw a guy tonight have some incredibly promising tendencies. And Lauren Powers here with a comment. TNT was giving the most love to Ant as a playmaker, and the reason Dame and CJ were able to get better shots, particularly in the first half. And I thought Anfernee Simons was on fire. Ended up with 14 points, only 2 assists, 5 rebounds. When I go watch this tape back tonight, I bet you he probably had 7 or 8 potential assists tonight, maybe more. I thought he was incredibly tremendous with his floor game as far as getting guys involved. It was maybe the most explosive I have seen him off the bounce and going towards the paint. He was decisive as hell.
Yeah. Now, he left the bad games behind him, right? Like, we didn't love it, like it, leave it. Like, my leave it was leave your bad games behind and come out, young man, and play well. And look, he was fantastic. They need to start in the NBA. It'd be a bit more of a hassle, but I'd really like them to keep track of hockey assists.
They do.
Well, I mean,
you got to dig for it, but
I know
it is there.
It's there, but you know what I mean. Like, I wish they get a little more credit with that for people who maybe don't dive into the super analytics of basketball, because he gets a lot of those kind of plays, right, where he finds the right guy, maybe,
and then it swings one more to the corner or it pops back up. You saw that at least 3 different times tonight where he drove, got the collapse, got the reset. He was a beneficiary of it once where he threw that one-handed rip pass through the middle. I think it was to Zeller on a short roll. It went back out to the corner, then got back to him, and he stepped in and just canned the 3.
Yeah.
I talked to Ant the other night, and he said for him, it's about confidence. You could see tonight he was hunting. There was no, let me try to read and see where this goes. He got JaMychal Green on him, cooked him. He got Zeke Naji on him, cooked him. If you threw a big and a switch, or they got back in transition, and Ant saw big, it was just blood in the water. And that's how he needs to operate. Because you saw the flash, not even flashes, the burst that he has off the bounce, where there was one, he ended up drawing a foul off of it, but he absolutely cooked JaMychal Green with a little hezzy, and then one, boom, gone. And it was, he's going to start doing that, because typically he tries to be cute.
He kind of dances with it.
Yeah. He was not, there was the only time he got cute was when he got Zeke Naji on the wing, and he was like, I'm going to cook him. And he did, but he kind of flat-armed it. It was the only bad shot of the night.
When he decisively power dribbles his moves,
Go.
I mean, even Austin tried to do a foul at the end there.
He was clearing him.
And he got Austin. And I think Austin, you see in slow-mo, Austin's like, oh, and he was lucky to reach out and grab him for the foul they had left to give. But I really liked what I saw, man. And look, Dame being back, big. It means
that's the biggest,
everything.
Most important thing for this team, hands down.
Easily. CJ being efficient and fitting in and being this obviously means a lot. But this is what I'm talking about. I think what we're talking about with this team, that if they want to beat what they did last year, if they want to reach a goal of whatever that is, wins, whatever, you need Ant to be this guy. Like, maybe not with 14, maybe it's 12, but whatever, like somewhere in this range, you need him to just play like this, where he's making an impact. And again, the couple games that he had, there were moments, but it also felt like because he wasn't making his shots, he allowed some of that to kind of take him out of it. And I thought tonight you saw like a guy that said, no more BS. I'm done being in this slump.
There was a directive there.
Out of this.
There was a directive there of I'm going to be aggressive.
Yes.
Make or miss, I'm going to be aggressive. And there was two plays tonight that stood out a ton to me. And for everybody asking, Ant's 22. He turned 22 in July, I believe. There was the give and go sequence where he got it back off, or not the give and go, the tap out off the rebound from Nance, and it got to Ant, and he curled over the top, and he got to that mid paint floater. That kind of shot right there, that's shot IQ. That's not I'm gonna decision tree. It's I'm gonna react to what the defense is giving me.
Yeah, he wasn't going to settle for some mid-range or long jump shot. He was going to go into the
deeper
paint
into the paint and read what they gave him.
Yeah.
Hey, they're coming up. I'm going to throw on the brakes, and that's when you see that feathery touch. Then there's the other one that he had, the right to left split down the lane, and Ant keeps here's my hot take of the night about Anfernee Simons. Ant keeps his dribble alive on a drive better than Dame and CJ.
I don't disagree with that.
Dame and CJ, once they get a foot in the paint, they pick up the dribble to protect the ball.
Well, yeah, and Dame, for the most part, even CJ to a certain extent, they're looking to draw the foul.
Yes.
More so than anything
or they're going to go up with some protected shot.
Yeah.
Ant rondos. And by rondos, I mean he'll keep that dribble alive and go around. And that causes defenses to hesitate on you a little bit. And he gave a little shoulder fake.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was on Najee. And got the defender to stand up a little bit. And then he leaned over and went that little running left-handed hook shot off the glass that went in. That's when I absolutely lost my shit.
I was going to text you because I know what move I know what play you're talking about. I was going to text you. Did it move?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, it was a...
Is that a reflection of size? Do you actually mean like just a little it moved? Like, where are we going with that?
But you see the flashes of absolute brilliance from the kid. And that's when you're going, that's pretty special.
Well, and we've gotten this a couple times, right? But for all the Dame CJ stuff, we got a Nas and Ant game. Like, Nas was good tonight.
I was just saying, I was literally just going to get onto Nas. It's funny is you look at where Nas's impact a couple games ago, he only had he shot like 1 of 7, had like 6 points. But you're like, man, I felt it. Tonight, I didn't think the impact was as pronounced, but his box score was better. He had 13 and 5 in 23 minutes.
Right.
And I think that's kind of like the enigma that Nasir Little is this year, where his impact is always going to be like the baseline is here, regardless of what the box score says, because his energy is just bing, 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 bing.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought tonight he did really good at picking those spots of bringing the energy and bringing the hustle. The big thing is, and here's my tease. I have a piece coming out on Friday. It was going to be a video, on Friday. I don't know if I'll push it Friday night or Saturday morning, but on Nasir Little's rebounding. Again, tonight, I think he still finished with 2, right? I was still
I think it was
stats
2,
earlier. Yeah. 2. So 2 offensive rebounds, which for everybody out there is thinking, oh, 2 offensive rebounds, that's not a lot. That is a metric shit ton for a wing. Let me go ahead and throw the analytical number on it for you. That is a crazy number for a wing. And he's been doing this regularly. He is now in the 99th percentile for offensive rebounds for the wing for wings in the NBA. He's in the 98th percentile on defensive rebounding.
Yep.
he plays really well, especially when it comes to rebounding. I should say that's where he's gonna. It's found money for him in that.
I think he knows it too. He knows like I can do this because there's not a lot of other wings that can maybe care this much.
Yeah, it's. Eric B brings up a really good point when I talk about Ant. I don't do this enough with Nasir. This would be Nasir's last year at UNC if he stayed.
Yeah.
He'd be a senior in college right now.
He was one and done.
Yeah, and Anfernee would literally, this would be him coming out a year later.
His senior year at IMG would have been last year.
Yes, this would be his rookie year in the NBA if it had been a
Would there have been a senior year at IMG? What do you do at IMG?
He would have had to go in the G League or something along those lines.
Right.
Yeah. Or he could have gone to Louisville like he was going to. So,
hey, he's not the only Blazer to burn Louisville to go to Portland.
I'm just gonna say,
Bash and Telfair.
You know who brought Anfernee into Louisville, right?
Tricky Ricky?
Well, yes, but
the brothels?
Shout out Patino.
Okay.
But do you know who his recruiting partner was?
Ooh.
The best player to come out of Louisville maybe ever? Utah Jazz, point guard.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. Donovan Mitchell.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Almost a Blazer.
Mm.
Could have been teammates in the pros.
Mm.
We should do an investigation into that.
All right, let's revisit our love it, like it, leave it tonight. My love it tonight, absolute home run, Anfernee Simons. Boop, love it. You'd love to see it.
Yep.
Yours was
Dame.
Home run.
Love it.
Look at it.
Yep.
Our like it's tonight. Yours was?
My like it was. I think my like it was Nas.
It was.
Yeah. And then my leave it was Ant, leave the bad games behind. Go out there and play your game.
My like it tonight was now I'm gonna forget.
I know. I need to start writing this down.
The start to the game.
That's right. The first quarter.
Yeah.
Which
it was
the start was.
Yeah, leave that one behind.
Really, the whole first half was, and then they went on the back.
They went for 3 minutes in the first half. It was really good. And then my leave it tonight was the. No, nothing. No. The bad defense.
Oh, well, I mean, yeah, they did. They left the bad defense at home. They played great defense tonight, Danny. We don't need to look into things.
Just don't. We won't talk about it.
Look.
So,
I know you want to. There's a part of you that's you're inside. You're like, let me out, man. Let me out. Let me just rant. This is for going against a team that was missing key guys, that lost a key rotational player.
Missing their top 4 guys.
Okay, hey, you know what? It happens. It's life. We got to deal with it here. They basically made you not need to care about watching the fourth quarter of tonight's game. And what did we talk about before this? What did we talk about, though? Please have that one game. Now, look, it wasn't a perfect game. I'm not sitting here telling you from start to finish perfect.
But they handled it. They
handled it. They separated themselves. And even when Denver, cut it to – they had an opportunity to cut it to 5 at one point because they were down 8. You still kind of had a feel of they don't have enough guys to compete with a Dame night and a CJ night. That's hard to match for most teams in the league. So they did relatively what they were supposed to do. Their defense, was it perfect? No, but you do have to give them credit. Some of that is, they dribbled off their foot, but what was the first quarter? 8 turnovers. Mike Malone had talked about that after the first quarter.
They did a
to 12
terrible job, and that's the takeaway tonight. I didn't actually flash that earlier. Oh, that's actually in the wrong box. There we go. Turnovers and fast break points. That's when I asked you what your big takeaway was for tonight. This is my takeaway tonight. The offense was humming. Ant got on track. Dame looks like Dame. CJ got a little shot hunty, but he was cooking. That's allowed. Norm continued to be Norm. Norm is just like I said, he is a human metronome of basketball. Just the steadiest of steadies. You love to see it. Cove, I think, is rounding more back into a contributor, which is why you saw his minutes spike and Larry's minutes go down a little bit.
Yeah. How did you feel about that? Felt like there could have been some minutes for Larry.
I especially when you're talking about Aaron Gordon early on, why is Norman Powell getting an excessive amount of minutes on Aaron Gordon when you've got Larry Nance Jr. to
Dame would get switched on him once in a while. It's kind of this
you
is
can
not
alleviate
ideal.
That issue by putting Larry Nance Jr. in.
Maybe Chauncey just thought he had 3 big guards in there. I'm sorry. I'm forever always going to make
No,
that a joke
it is. It's
because
always
of how pompous that was.
It's always gonna be there because it was just so asinine. It was just wildly stupid.
I had a national writer text me when he said that and said, I don't know if I've heard a dumber thing to lash out about than what I just heard.
Yeah, it definitely hurts. That's for sure. But turnovers and fast break points. You had 8 Denver turnovers in the first quarter, 19 for the game, so 11 more the rest of the game, which still not great. That's for damn sure. Portland took wildly good care of the ball. 9 turnovers. Yeah. But here's where it gets nuts. Those 19 turnovers turned into 28 Portland fast break points. Yep. The Denver Nuggets had 2.
They only had 2.
Deuce.
Damn.
Take good care of the rock, and you don't have anybody who can really hurt you in transition. Like, don't get me wrong. You give AG a run out, and somebody gets him the ball. Cool.
Yeah, I don't think Jeff Green running a 3-on-1 fast break and then passing to the guy who's back. Not looking. I don't think that's not the best way to maybe.
Jeff Green's a finisher. Break. It should have been reversed, to be honest. It should have been Will running the fast break with Jeff Green on the other wing. But
can we say the quiet part out loud?
What's that?
I have been a long time fan. Like, I'm going back to the Sonic days of Jeff Green.
Of Mr. 11 teams in 14 years?
Bro.
Still a good player.
You got to shave it. Like,
oh, yeah. No, he's got to let it go.
I mean, it's see-through, right? So it's like,
let it go.
What's that for?
You legitimately played for the Sonics.
Yeah. Like,
it's okay. Him and KD can... KD's got other issues. We're not gonna shame here. We'll let
it's
that go.
Cold in Brooklyn. That's what I'm going to say. It's cold in Brooklyn. You can't play the broke card on people, though, if what you need to help yourself is like $2.45. Come on. I mean, what are we doing here?
Dave Chappelle said it best.
I have a travel size in my car at all times. Like, come on, man.
Just in case, you know.
You never know.
Yeah, you never know. But turnovers and fast break points. Blazers offense was humming along. And again, if you look at the Nuggets, they shot 49, 46, 82. You let an opponent do that, most nights you're getting your ass kicked. But they forced enough.
Because they played great defense.
It wasn't great. It was okay. Wasn't great.
Is 9 turnovers the least they've had in a game this year? Or they had a game?
Thought they had 8 and 1, but I could be wrong.
Okay.
I'm going entirely off memory, but I thought they had one where they took really good care of the ball, and I was like,
might have been that Phoenix game because, I mean, dear God, they smoked them.
You know what probably happened? It probably they probably had 8, and then the bench unit came in. And they got a little bit sloppy, and they ended up with like 10 or something like that. Speaking of the bench unit, ladies and gentlemen, Greg Mother Bleeping Brown III has arrived. That SOP did it in game.
Yes, he did. Courtesy of Bol not caring.
Business decision.
Business decision. You were on the side of him. He wasn't gonna do that.
Listen, man, I'm not calling it a good business decision. It was some Enron shit. He packed up, got out.
That was some Facebook. We're changing our name to
Meta.
Shit.
Yeah, that's exactly what that was, man.
What are you doing, dude? Like, you're not getting any run.
I love the thought process when Greg caught it, because he caught it. He power dribbled once, and you could tell, like, oh, he about to do some shit. Like,
I bet you he power dribbled and was like, oh, this skinny dude don't care about what I'm about to do.
Here's the thing. Even if Bol went up, I still think Greg goes.
You think he tries it under the legs with Bol up? Boy, that's a ballsy ass attempt. And I would have gone, I mean, I already went nuts when he did it.
Yeah.
But I would have went even crazier had he been able to do that over Bol.
I was just... wow.
So one of our listeners, Evan M, I think he looked this up. I saw this super late.
But the guys who have East Bay dunked in a game?
So
it's Ricky Davis.
It's Ricky Davis and him in the NBA. Now, I remember when Braun did it in a high school game because that was St. Mary's. A day.
That was the
I
ESPN
said, this
game.
LeBron dude is not, get out of here with this crap. And I watched that game, and as soon as he completed that play, I was
all in.
I was all in. I'm like, all right, Braun's got me. I'm all in on the Braun stuff. Those are the only two that I can remember. I don't remember another one outside of those. Can you think of
I've
one?
seen Will Barton do it.
Sure.
But I don't know if that was for Portland or for Denver.
In a game?
Yes. Barton has one in a game.
Okay.
But
it doesn't happen very often. That's the point.
No, and Will has a couple like behind the back flushes too.
Ooh, the Kobe Denver Nugget one.
Yeah. But I'm trying to think. I don't think Ryder ever did one in game.
Did Vince ever have a breakaway one? Or did he just do like, tomahawks, windmills?
I'm trying to think if he ever went between the legs.
He had the Indiana one baseline where he brought it down.
All the way down and then reversed it.
Yeah. I think he dunked it on Austin Crozier.
In the dunk contest, he had a bunch of between the legs.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he's the greatest dunker of all time.
Yeah, no, there's no doubt about that.
It's Vince. Come on.
To me, AG's second.
I'm not mad about that. I mean, he still has maybe the
best
greatest dunk contest performance I've ever seen. And
which is insane. Yeah. My favorite part about this dunk tonight is I need to find it. Let's see. Come on. Larry Nance Jr. tweeted right after the game. Like he went to his locker and grabbed his phone and retweeted the Blazers video of Greg Brown III on the East Bay dunk. He says, "I'm still tripping off this. How many times has this been done in an NBA game before?"
I mean, I think it's legitimately a good question because we're sitting here thinking of them, and maybe somebody in the chat will think of one. Danny, I don't know. Has there been more than 5 ever?
No.
We've only
we can all remember the Ricky Davis one, and I'm trying to.
But you're saying there's a Barton one, so let's just say you're right. That's 2.
It's wild. Like, I mean, any kind of bump, timing, anything like that, you're throwing this off. And by the way, Ricky Davis's, I'm rewatching it. I remember it was against Philly. It was, as far as East Bays go, it wasn't like he had like a slow down gather and he had to get real wide.
Hey, he still did it. He still did it.
But if you're putting his like up against Greg's
was just like
was smooth and he stayed upright and long and tremendous. Like everything about that was just.
Now, how tall is Greg?
When we had him on, he said he was almost 6'9".
And Ricky
somebody has him listed 6'7". Ricky was 6'6".
6'6"? Yeah, okay.
And Greg's arms are exponentially longer. Greg is dumb long. Because when we asked him about that, because not his combine measurements, but his Texas measurements, I think had him at 6'7". It was either one of the draft boards had him at like 6'7".
And then there's a certain point that you go back in the league history. Nobody thought about doing this. This wasn't a thing. No. So it's like you really go to maybe Kobe. Kobe did it in his dunk contest, didn't he?
Yes, there's been a bunch in dunk contests, but not.
But wasn't Kobe the first in a dunk contest to go between a leg, and we were all kind of
no, JR Ryder.
JR, thank you.
That's right. Who named it. 94 dunk contest.
You're right. It was thank you. JR.
And that was like that dunk was so phenomenal in 94. Greg just took that was the thing when we had him on the show. I said when we had him on, I go, you realize you did a dunk in a game that won a dunk contest. And he was like, wait, what? I go, when JR did it, and he said, J.R. Smith? And I was like, oh,
dude,
that's
he
right.
wasn't. I don't think he was alive.
No, God, no, he wasn't. And that's
what year
I was
was
like.
Greg Brown born?
So he's
2000?
19, so 2001, 2002? You know, when we're seniors in high school.
We are washed, bro. We're sitting here like, oh, yeah, 94. And Greg Brown's like, what? 7 years before I was born?
Yeah, it's crazy. Somebody asked, John McGree asked, please explain AG over Levine. You must. Listen, those dunk contests were fantastic. Aaron Gordon went under his ass with his legs parallel to the ground over a mascot.
I still think that is my
Back it up.
Are we in agreement on this?
100%. It's the best dunk contest dunk of all time. It's the most obscene shit I've ever seen.
Yeah, I couldn't. He sat. By the way, his legs straight.
They're like
out,
6 feet off the ground.
6 feet off the ground. I believe that was the dunk where the mascot was spinning.
Spinning, yes.
So the mascot's on one of those hoverboards. spinning, and he times the rotation so perfect
to grab it as he goes over and then goes under the leg.
Sits in the air under his ass, reverse. I mean,
it's the most obscene thing I've ever seen.
Now Levine is a monster in himself. Please do not
remember his beyond the free throw line dunk.
Oh, it's nuts. It's nuts.
I can sit here and talk dunks all day.
And then D Wade fixed it the next year for DJ.
Yeah. Here's the thing. The Blazers have another slam dunk champion on their roster. I am an Ant guy through and through. My guy got his title. Let him go defend it. Greg Brown needs to go to the All-Star game and go to the dunk contest this year.
Okay.
Off that dunk alone.
Well, I'm just going to say this. You're not wrong.
If I said Greg Brown of the field.
But I got people that consider last year's more of a bubble dunk contest. They're not really.
That's fine. That's what I'm saying. Ant's going to have his opportunity. If he wants to go defend it, they'll invite you back.
He has to. Yeah.
If Greg Brown versus the field is on the table, what are the odds and what are you taking? It's what? Maybe plus 250 at most?
Well, last year, Cassius Stanley was actually the favorite.
Which was insane because he bombed out.
Sucked.
Yeah,
he was awful.
I legitimately don't think that people really – I don't think whoever made those lines realized that Ant's got obscene bunnies.
Well, I don't think they knew who Ant was, and I think Obi, they were barely like, Obi's
he's a Knick, okay. So sure.
Yeah, I think Greg Brown will be like a plus 200.
At most.
2-1. I mean, I'd still take those odds, though.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If you're giving me Greg Brown on the field, I'm taking Greg Brown.
Even if Ant's in it?
Yes.
Okay.
He has that rare ability like T-Mac and Vince to be a big-bodied, long-armed dude with obscene bunnies and still make it look graceful. Like Dwight Howard doing it was just like, oh, he's just a really big dude, so Nate Robinson continues to win, da-da-da-da. But when you've got that size and that grace, that explosion. We've spent like 5 minutes.
Thank God they played great defense tonight to get those Greg Brown minutes.
Hey, listen. A win is a win, and I said this on Twitter. You can only play who's in front of you, and if the Blazers continue to play these dog shit teams that are in front of them that are missing everybody, they will win a lot of games.
Hey, Danny, if they win their next game, how many in a row is that?
Is that 5? Well, which means you unequivocally know they are gonna shit the bed.
No, they're not. The Kings blow, bro.
They do.
The
Kings have been bad for 17 years.
And
somehow,
right here,
some way, that game between those two teams always goes sideways.
No, bro, mark it. It's going to be the same result as tonight.
Okay,
tough first half.
What are we putting on it?
Why does everything got to be gambling? Why are you such a degenerate?
Like you're not?
What do I host a gambling show?
You're just stalling because you're like, what the hell do I want to put on this?
I don't know.
We will have something. There we go. There's the
something.
tease for the next show. We will have something on this, and I'm depending on the spread.
Are we going by point spread or what are we doing?
We're going spread.
Okay.
Well, I'll tell you what. I'll give you the Vegas line.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Vegas line. Okay. The Kings suck.
Okay.
And then they're going to get waxed by Golden State.
That's
Steph loves to kill this team.
Yeah, no, it's something.
But they won 4 in a row, so.
It is. Somebody said I should put a spicy chip on the line.
No.
Peter Allens says, Danny and Brandon, given what we saw tonight, if we get this Dame for the rest of the season, which I think it's Damian Lillard, what's the one trade we make that gives us a long shot for making it to the finals?
What's the sorry?
What's the one trade that gives a long shot for making it into the finals? The only realistic one is Simmons. That's it. Unless Jaylen Brown shakes free, or even then, as much as I love Jaylen, they need a playmaker. That is what this team.
They looked better without him.
Who's the 76ers?
The Celtics.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's literally
a small sample size for sure. But and again, the Celtics are actually in the same position as the Blazers are, is needing an additional playmaker.
I know they need a ball handling playmaker, and Portland could really use a gifted young wing.
But here's the thing: both teams need a dyed-in-the-wool playmaker. They both need a Draymond or a Ben Simmons, or that's what both those teams are missing. Let's be honest.
Yeah, Marcus Smart's too short to be a Draymond.
He's pocket-sized Draymond. Like I think
they want him. He is their Draymond, but he's just
it's not as effective and he's not quite as good. And like you can't put him in pick and rolls and like use him quite the same way. We get a quick turnaround here. Okay. After having many days off, Brandon, we get a lot of basketball coming up. Did you know that?
We had 2 days off, first of all.
That's a lot.
And then they have a game tomorrow.
And then a day off for Thanksgiving.
Saturday.
And game Friday.
Oh, yeah.
Warriors game's Friday.
Golden State's Friday.
Yep.
And then they play a game Saturday, right?
Nope. They get Saturday, Sunday off with a travel day.
Oh, it's a Monday.
Utah.
That's right.
And that's on a back-to-back.
That's still a decent amount of days off.
They get 2. Okay, so they give between now and then they have 1, 2, 3. Between now and next week they have 4 games. So 4 games in 6 nights.
4 and 6, yeah. Okay.
That's an ass kicking.
Well, I mean, look, this was
their little bit of rest that they got.
Yes.
They got their 1 and 5. Now it's 4 and 6 after the 6 and 9. So every little bit that they got back, they're giving up right away. Sean McCartney asks, "Is Nance the playmaker you speak of?" He's almost there. They can't shoehorn him into that lineup. That's the thing. Is like it's not quite right.
Mm-hmm.
If they had, let's put it. If they had more mobility at the 5. Like if they had a Miles Turner, if they had a Mo Bamba, if they had somebody who can't get played off the floor by mobility, then I think you could play Nance a bit more at the 4 inside with a floor stretching 5. Then you could take advantage of Nance's playmaking. I think that's the kind of thing. If you're looking to optimize Larry Nance Jr., which is one of those things that I would love to see happen, because he greases the offense. He does so many things. And again, I think 15 minutes tonight, we're getting more towards that territory where we were like 2 weeks ago. Like, why did Larry only play 7 minutes?
Yeah.
Do you think this is just a one-off, or there was something they were playing with here? The guards were cooking. They could go smaller.
There's a part of me, and I get the quote might be out already, but like we'll wait to see what Chauncey has to say about. I thought the minute thing was weird with him because they could have used him on Aaron Gordon. Mm-hmm. But there's another part of me, because I've noticed this during the game. I'm like, Larry's not playing a whole lot. My only thought was maybe Chauncey really liked what he was seeing from them offensively and knew that Denver didn't really have enough
real size to punish him.
Yeah, to really make them regret not playing Larry. So maybe it's a one-off. One
of the things I've noticed, and then we'll kind of wrap it up here, is it feels like it's as weird as this sounds, it's an Ant or Larry thing, because Nas is getting minutes because they need those wing defense minutes. So Nas isn't the one, when you're talking about the bench, whose minutes get cut back. Instead, they slide Nas up to the 4, or they leave Cove out there with that group a little bit longer, and they play a little bit smaller. It's a weird situation, but typically it's not Nas's minutes that are getting cut for Ant. It's Zeller or Nance as they play a little bit smaller.
Which is a little odd to me, because if you were to ask who would I want to see minutes cut, whose minutes go up, like I'd rather see Larry's go up and Cubs come down.
Sure. Well, we went way long this time, and it's way past Brandon's bedtime. We're at 50 minutes right now, so thank you all so very much. We're going to wrap it up here. We will be back tomorrow with the pre- and post-game show for the Sacramento Kings. Hopefully we'll be able to go at 5:30. If not, we will go at 6. I have got an appointment to see if I need to have hip surgery. So,
hip surgery?
Oh, yeah, I didn't tell you about that. I got a torn labrum in my hip.
Didn't you just talk about how you're going to come play basketball in like a week?
Sarcastically. Yeah, no. Yeah, no, it's awful. So,
bro, you are going to be the robot man. Like, you're going to be half robot.
It's a disaster. So that we're going for a pre-surgical consult. Good times. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. If it's your first time, thank you. Appreciate you. If you're a long time, thank you. We'll have the memberships rolled out soon. Like, rate, review. Find the podcast wherever you get podcasts, and we will catch you for the pregame tomorrow. Hopefully at 5:30. If not at 6, I'll post it on Twitter and let you guys know.